Well, welcome everybody to another fantastic episode of Ignite Humanity Live. I'm your host, JB Owen, and I'm so delighted to be here because we get to talk about ways to ignite humanity, and we get to talk to fabulous guests who are doing fabulous things, who are inspiring themselves to inspire others to ignite humanity. And so these are small tips and tools and tricks that you can do to instill humanity essence in your life and ways for you to help others, because it is a ripple effect. When we help ourselves, we help others, and that ignites humanity. In fact, it's one of the principles of the Ignite Humanity philosophy on how we can each, in our own way, step into the opportunity to help others. And we encourage you to do that with some ideas on the show, because today is all about connection. Yes, it's Friday, and so we talk about connection, ways for you to connect with others, ways for you to create a collaboration, ways for you to be a good listener, ways for you to allow people to feel like they are heard by you. And when we build connections, we in turn absolutely ignite humanity. In fact, one of the ways that we feel we build connections is through storytelling and being authentic and being vulnerable and heartfelt and sharing the true essence of who we are and some of the things we've been through, that journey of life. In fact, we've all had trials and tribulations. Now more than ever, we each have been experiencing a toughness that we never had before. The last 2 years have been challenging to every single person on the planet in a way that we have never felt. And therefore, we want to create more connection. We want to build this camaraderie between all of us so we can not only get back to the way it was, but make it even better. And so today is all about connection. And I have a great guest who's really going to dazzle you. Well, before we get to that, I'd love to share that one of the ways you can create connection is by reaching out to those people that you love, because it's Valentine's Day. It's February, and we're all about sharing love and goodness. And one of the ways we're doing that here at Ignite Humanity Live is by doing something called the Bouquets of Hope. That's right. Bouquets of Hope are virtual bouquets that we are sending to people for Valentine's Day. And why are we doing that? Well, everybody gets roses or candies or some kind of thing that they've got year after year. We wanted to do something different. And in conjunction with the schools that we are building overseas, every school requires bricks, and those bricks are $1 each. And so what we thought would be kind of cool was, for a $12 donation, you can buy a dozen bricks, and those will go to our school. They'll be in the walls, in the school, in our schools, in other countries. And your donation will help create those bricks, or send those bricks over there, or have those bricks be in the schools. And you're giving that bouquet to somebody else in relationship to this giving message. And so we would love for you to go to ignitehumanity.life/hope and buy a bouquet of hope for someone you care about. And then we will send them the email. We will send them the virtual bouquet, and we will let them know that you donated $12 on their behalf to help our kids in need. We want to ignite literacy, ignite possibilities, ignite humanity, and we're doing it around the globe. And of course, we need your help. All right, well, let's not waste any time creating some great connection with our first guest and our only guest of the day. Mary Streeter has spent the last 3 decades as a healthcare provider, studying and teaching yoga, energy medicine, mindfulness, and stress resiliency. Mary is a wellness and plant-based nutrition advocate, writer, podcast host, and life coach. She creates empowerment tools, guiding the process of ascending personal wisdom and knowledge to heal, grow, and transform. All the good, yummy stuff that creates connection. Here she is. Welcome her to the show. Hello, my darling.
Hello, JV. How are you?
Great. And so happy to have you here. You know, there's all kinds of fun stuff to talk about. You have a lot of wisdom and things to share. So when it comes to connection, let's talk about that. Is there something that you do in your daily practice, or something you can share with our viewers about how to build connection?
Well, I guess I love that this is what this episode is focusing on, because I do a lot of work with groups of people that are going through recovery, right, of many different things, right? We're all in recovery from something. And really the biggest thing that I think helps people heal is that connection that we make, right? That community. And even in my travels, when I've done work abroad in Africa myself, right, going to these rural villages, I was always so impressed with, or moved, I guess I should say, by the level of joy that these people with so little had, right? And I watched for, the many years I went over, and it was because they had each other, right? They had
Right.
community, connection, they had a sense of belonging. And, really, that's what we all desire, right? To be seen, heard, and belong in community. And so I like in my journey, I guess I would say in my life, when I've had the most vulnerable moments in my life, when maybe things didn't go as expected, and life kind of threw me a curveball, that's where we have that opportunity of choice, right? We have a choice as to how to be with that. And once we can, really find some ground beneath it, I found that like my ability to speak my truth and be vulnerable with other people, that's where I've drawn the biggest connections in my life.
I
Yeah.
so agree with you. I truly agree with you. There were times in my life where I didn't want anyone to know anything about me. I didn't want people to know my pain or have any awareness of my sorrow, and I was just keeping it all in.
Yes.
And so fantastically, when I shared and when I finally told the first person, there was such a connection because they were going through something similar. And then we could have like this really common bond between us. And even when people aren't going through the same thing, they can have empathy and compassion and understanding, and it truly builds connection. And so you have a great story. You have some things that you've been through. Do you want to share a little bit about your vulnerability and your story so we can feel connected to you?
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, I live in rural Vermont, or I guess in Vermont, not really rural, but and raised three children who are now adults. And as the intro said, I was a healthcare provider for many years, still am, with all my other little side hustles that I do. But through that journey, at one point, life was going according to plan somewhat. My youngest was just about to finish high school, and my oldest daughter had four children. And one day I came home, and I knew their life was sort of a little challenging, but I really didn't know what was going on. And then one night I came home to find her sort of on my couch, kind of listless. The kids were running around, and she just said, "Mom, I need help." And um, I know you know what's going on. And in that moment, I didn't know what was going on. But she said, I have a substance use, problem. And so overnight, we became what ended up being the parent to her four children as she
Mm.
continues her journey and struggle. And so it was through that journey of, oh boy, walking through fire, feeling every emotion possible, not knowing how I was going to get through each day with these four little kids, and feeling a lot of shame, quite honestly, because a good mother doesn't raise a daughter that ends up, struggling with addiction, which was, just the beginning of my journey. But I had these four kids in tow, so I couldn't really hide what was going on. But I did, through that journey at one point, really like just dragging myself through each day until one day I saw a woman, as I was dropping the kids off at school, they scurried out of the car, and I'd seen this woman quite a few times, and she kind of had like her jaw was clenched. She seemed a little unhappy. And I think she was a foster parent, and I'd seen her walking into school many times. And it just hit me in that moment. I was like, wow, she doesn't have to do this if she doesn't want to. And then I paused and I thought, wait a minute. I don't want, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I know this, I have a lot of sadness about my daughter's struggle. I know life is feeling a little bit out of control right now. But I have a choice here, right? I have a choice to either let this continue to set me back on my heels, or I have a choice to begin to step in and really observe the gifts and what I'm receiving from this journey. And I am
Mm.
going to walk this line that's hard, but I also want to find the beauty in it. And that sort of was my ignite moment, and continues to today to say, like, this is a hard and beautiful life. And I think,
Great. Yeah, great point. This is a hard and beautiful life.
right. Yeah. And when I started to tell my story, at that point I started to speak up and out a little bit. I was talking about reviving resilience. That was kind of already my jam before that. I was like, oh, like how do we keep this light bright within us? And then, my challenges came, and I feel like everything that happens just becomes like an evolution for my soul's growth in this life. And as I began to tell my story, people would listen, and then people would show up at my door, in school parking lots, at the sideline of games, saying, "Me too." And then I began to see the power of our stories, to connect us, and to hold space
And you've
for
been
healing.
really, and I want to applaud you. You've been very candid and open with your story, and with your, you're very respectful of your daughter's journey and very respectful of your grandkids. But at the same time, you've really shared your experience in it and how you, the highs and lows of it. And I applaud you, because that has in turn created a huge amount of connection. You have a lot of people on your podcast. You have people who are following you. You support and encourage a lot of people. And so I love how you share that it isn't easy, but there were some gifts and some blessings in all of this. And that's really what you're sharing now when you're connecting with people, not sharing the hardships, you're sharing the triumphs or the blessings.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. Like a lot of my work that I do now, even with these children I'm raising, my grandchildren, I it's like I now understand, we can hold grief and gratitude at the same time. In fact, it can open our hearts. And also, like, our kids need to know that struggle is part of being human, and they're worthy of that journey, right? And that we can talk about it. And that has connected me to really helping people remember the bright light, the little soul beings that they came into this world as, and what does light you up inside. Because, the struggles are going to be there. They're going to look a little different for all of us. But we all have this same connection through that inner light. And what fuels you, what lights you up inside, it's our birthright to feel joy, and I think we sometimes think we have to earn it or deserve it. But no, we just have to keep peeling back and finding our way through these layers. I help people build their little toolkits, right? Remembering what lights them up, what things they need to practice every day to keep them steady. And we need each other. We need each other's lights to help shine the path.
And I think kids more than ever need honesty and authenticity, because they intuitively know if they know that mom's not okay right now. They know that things are different than maybe what their friends are experiencing at school. And so for us to not create an honest, authentic connection with the situation or what's unfolding is really detrimental to them, because they already intuitively know. And it's almost the same as, I think of the times when I was hiding or struggling. I didn't want people to know what was going on with me. And I thought that I was really good at smoke screening everybody, but intuitively they knew that there was something off. And so connections are hard to build when you're holding back, or you have a facade, or you're hiding behind something. And so I just want to again say thank you for sharing your honest truth. Do you have some tools that you can share with our listeners about ways that they can potentially build greater connections, especially grandmothers and grandkids, mothers and daughters? You have some sharing around that?
Yeah, I guess, what comes to mind for me is just, looking at your story, right? Because our stories, we're like our own, I say we're our main flawed characters of our own epic journeys, right? But it's what we know, and it's incredibly valuable, and important. It might seem like really obvious to you because you're walking it, but look at what's happened in your lifetime. Look at the gates you've walked through, the mountains you've climbed, and also look at the wisdom that you've gained through that. And perhaps there's something there that you've been being asked to share, And so I think that's one really, really important thing to say. Not only, not that everyone has to take the hard stuff and share it, but I do think we're all here for a reason, and it's kind of our job to figure out what that is. And so if there's something that kind of keeps knocking on your door, look for a way that you can maybe step into that. And I think once you're in alignment with that truth, you begin to attract in those connections that you need, and that, grow that circle. And also maybe there's something you can offer. Like I personally through, have looked to share with other people that are walking beside someone struggling with mental health or addiction. And I've taken, the gifts I've gathered along the way to hold space for people to come in community and share in different ways, whether it's through writing or whether it's through a yoga practice or whether it's just through community and connection. And for my kids, I've even, my grandchildren, we've looked for opportunities for them to tell their story, and they're all snowboarders and skiers, and to sort of maybe they're actually looking at, creating a scholarship for kids that, go through a similar situation, but maybe don't have as much support. And so that other people can have the opportunity. And I think that's inspirational. If you've gone through something hard, that you can impact other people to say, hey, it's okay. We can have those pieces of our story that feel uncomfortable, but we can still crush this life. We can still make shit happen.
I want to ding, ding, ding the bell, because what's exciting is your grandchildren, by having a hardship in their life, realizing what they can do to help someone else, scholarship another person, that is igniting humanity. Everything you just said is how we ignite humanity. Maybe we have gone through something difficult, and not maybe, absolutely, we've gone through something difficult, each and every one of us, many different things. But if we can take that difficulty and use it as fuel to kindle something and percolate something and ignite something in us, that absolutely can help others. And so your grandkids need to be on the show and they get their scholarship together. I really, truly love that.
Yeah. I try to empower them. And I think, that's what we all need. We all just need to empower each other, right? And I sometimes feel like, I'm holding a lot of space for people, and I think we all are holding a lot of space for each other. And I think we never know when that smile or that, paying it forward, right? Or that holding the door for someone, especially right now. Don't you think, JB, people are just really, their edges are close. And I think anytime we can show a little compassion and kindness, it doesn't take much. And you're probably saving lives without even knowing it.
It's true. When you show up in your highest integrity and you be a leader, or you be kind, or you allow somebody, or you show grace, you're actually allowing more, you're radiating it out for more people. Because I was in an airport and the lady in front of me was being incredibly unkind to the host who was trying to sit the tables. And it was kind of like this big open restaurant, so everyone could see the lineup and the host and the interaction and the discomfort, because as they were sitting at their table. And I just lovingly went forward to the person in front and said, is there any way that I can help you or assist you? I see that it's really, da 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 da. And I really tried to help them. And anyway, the host came and sat them down. But then when it was my turn to sit down and I walked through the restaurant, I had 3 or 4 tables be like, good job. That was nice of you. Good job. And they just witnessed me trying to help somebody else. And some of them, maybe even if they wouldn't have said good job, what we don't know is people are witnessing us and witnessing our behaviors and witnessing how we show up, and especially kids. And so again, how you show up, bravo. I really appreciate what you're doing. Is there something you can talk a little bit about? Because one of our, principles is foster positive expansion and loving evolution. And I think it's important that we think about how to expand and how to evolve. You said that you were feeling a sense of shame originally, but you've evolved through that and you've expanded to now help you be an advocate for what you are. We know that everybody in hardships expands and evolves. Can you talk a little bit about the power of expansion and evolution?
Oh, gosh. Well, I think it is powerful. The power of it for me has been that it continues to grow. It promotes more and more growth. The more that you're on, just like you were saying, when you raise your vibration, it raises other people's vibration, right? And when you begin to really embrace the discomfort and not numb from it, but kind of lean into it and actually let your heart feel it. There's so much truth in those moments that help us expand and evolve. And so then what's happened for me is that where I used to I still feel all the feels around the things that are hard, but
Right.
I'm less attached to them, right? I can move through them going, oh, we're here in these earth suits doing this journey, trying to support each other, right? And trying to evolve. So if I can continue to move in this expanded way with fluidity, I guess, and with non-attachment and not grasping or holding on, but like see what's around the next corner. It's almost like bringing open curiosity to your
Hmm.
journey, which at times can seem hard, but it's an incredibly a powerful way to expand and
I like
invite in.
that. I
Yeah.
really like that curiosity. Like instead of judging yourself or judging the other person or having like a really high expectation, just being very curious kind of
Mhm.
expands our willingness to actually see things differently because we
Yeah.
think it's one way, but when we're curious about the way it really is, it allows us to evolve our thinking.
Yeah. Well, I think it's at this time period, I define hope not just as the light in the darkness, but moving that light, right?
Hmm.
And I think it's hard right now for some people to find hope. And I think sometimes it's more important that we look at the possibilities.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Right? And I think, even culturally, the things that different organizations and groups of people are going through, sort of recovering from the past few years, it's sometimes people are like, but it's still really hard. It is hard, but let's look at like what is possible now. Yeah.
I so agree. You know me, I love the word possibilities. I'm
Yeah.
such an advocate of it. I'm always talking about it. I've even put it across the side of our travel vehicle when we go across the country, igniting possibilities. The truth is, I feel like we all need to be living in the center of what's possible. And
Mm,
when we are doing that and there is no ambition shaming or there is no possibility shaming, like I have a dream and I want to do this and everyone's like, yes, do it. The humanity will be such a better place because we'll
mhm.
all be supporting. There's enough for your dream. There's enough for my dream. There's enough for your abundance. There's enough for my abundance. And we want to see each other lift up and we
Yeah.
want to see everybody rise. Have you had that experience in your life and maybe even with your kids where you noticed how when you rose, they rose?
Oh, absolutely. So, and I think that happens when we become a little less reactive.
Yes.
Right? Again, I'm gonna go back to that thing about, like, standing in your truth, having tools to stay grounded, really looking at the pillars of health, right? You're looking at your rest, exercise, stress management, eating well, and taking care or self-care. Like, I always say, like, steady your boat. You can't shoot an arrow from a rocky boat, right? And then if we can right? I mean, it sounds simple, but it is incredibly powerful. And then, reclaiming our attention, nurturing our nervous system. Like to me, those are kind of like the buckets that we can step into and reclaim for ourselves. And when I'm at my best in all those ways, then yeah, like the possibilities, once again, are limitless. And that's like a magnet to people, right?
Yeah.
Like I couldn't wait to get on with you today because I'm like, oh, I get to hang out with JB's energy today, right? Because it does, and that's that ripple that we're talking about, that just raises each other up. And I see my kids absolutely get pulled in and up when I'm in that place of like, yeah, this is really hard. And what are we grateful for here? Like
Mm.
what's the possibilities that could come out of this? What this happened for a reason. Maybe we don't know the reasons right now, but it'll become apparent. And if it isn't, we
Absolutely.
can just trust that, you know, it's launching us forward into something beautiful,
It is yet to be revealed how
yet to be
amazing it will
revealed.
be.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, you are such a joy to speak to. I'm going to put up your information so that our audience can find you if they need to. Go to marystreeter.co. Mary, just give us a little final closing words just so our audience can have that last little nugget from you.
Oh, I just want to inspire everyone that you're a vessel of love and that, put on your oxygen mask, take care of yourself first, give yourself permission because when you do that, we all benefit. Yeah.
Yeah, amen. Yes, we do. Absolutely. Thank you, my darling. So
Thank
happy
you.
to have you on the show. Love your energy also. And thank you for sharing with our guests, with our community. Take care.
Thanks, JV. Take
You
care.
got
Thanks
it.
for all you do.
Thank you. Well, it's exciting to think about how to create connections, because connections really are the foundation of how we do many things. And so foster the people around you and think about how to build beautiful connections. And the people that are in your sphere, make sure they're supporting you and they admire and appreciate the work that you're doing just by being you. And so connections are really important to build. And as Mary shared, when you build a strong connection, you actually have the ability to inspire people to go out and do the things that they want to do. And that is going to ignite humanity. We all have a responsibility and the opportunity and the possibilities to do something wonderful in our lives, to move through the things that are holding us back, to be, as she said, in the flow, to be curious about, why is this happening? How is this unfolding? What will this bring us? And what can I learn from this? And be that for others. Allow people to see that you are in the flow and that you appreciate and that you're curious about life, and just step into it with joy and prosperity. All right. Well, we love having guests like Mary on the show. And if you'd like to join us and be a guest, please fill out our type form, ignitehumanity.life/share. And you could be a guest. Tell us about your Ignite moment and what are you doing and how are you igniting others? We would love to showcase that, because we want different voices, different personalities, different backgrounds, and different inspiration on how you can ignite humanity. If you'd like to know more about what we're doing in Igniting Humanity, go to our website, because we got lots of information there. And of course, you can get a bouquet of hope on our website, or go to ignitehumanity.life/hope and check it out, because we are helping you help others, help kids. And we are doing it all through our Bouquets of Hope, which is a $12 donation for 12 bricks in the school. 12 physical, actual bricks will go into the walls of the school with your very generous $12 donation. So please go ahead and do that. Now, if you would like to see any of our past episodes or watch this episode again, go to ignitehumanity.life/watch, and you can see Mary and all of our other guests share how they are igniting humanity, how they are making big impact through the ripple effect. Mary just shared how just raising her life, helping her grandkids, holding space for the people in her life, she's actually teaching and showing and empowering others around her. And you can do the same watching our episodes. There is no cost. You just have to sign up, and they all are available to you. Well, I'm your host, and I love being here each and every day, Monday through Friday, talking to you about ways to ignite humanity, and so happy to get your feedback. Please reach out and let us know what you think of the show, so we can bring more exciting content, fabulous guests, and ways for you to ignite humanity in your life. All right, blessings. Take care.
Now, more than ever, we need to come together to connect with one another. We need to feel the truth in who we are and let go of everything that's happened in the past. We need to empower every person on the planet and awaken hearts, enliven souls, come together, laugh, play, rejoice, connect, create, and love. It's time to ignite humanity. We want you to be a part of something that will impact the future for everyone. We want you to tell your story, share your Ignite moment, show people who you truly are. Be a part of igniting humanity and making a difference in the world and all of our futures.